Welcome to Blind Cafe's Naked DJs podcast, where every day we expose ourselves to the very best music. Some days we like to shake it up, some days we let it all hang out, and others we just like to stick it out there for you to listen to.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Naked DJs podcast, brought to you by the DJs of Blind Café Radio, where every day we expose ourselves to the best of music just so we can stick it out there for you to listen to. I'm your host, DJ Curveball, and today we have a couple of great topics by DJ Lightning Blind Mike as well as Dr. Johnny Love. So be prepared to open your ears and get your minds ready. First, we're going to start off with Lightning Blind Mike. What do you want to bring to the table today, Mike?
Well, good evening to everybody. Good evening to Johnny and Julie, Maria, Tom, and Curtis, and to everybody that's going to be listening to this podcast. What I have tonight, which I'm going to find quite interesting because I think you guys will too, is we're going to talk about the COVID-19 and what it has done to the music business. And just to give you guys a few examples as in what it's done so far, because we already know the rest as in the conversation that we're going to have. It has a third of physical sales has dropped since the COVID has been released. Digital sales has gone downhill tremendously. And the reason why is because the COVID is everybody's topic right now. That's just a few examples as in what the COVID has done to the entertainment music business. And I know a lot of people have stuff on their minds as in what else it has done. So the first thing I'd like to at least bring up as the first part of this conversation is concerts. I know that Julie brought this up earlier. And Julie, you're the one that did a lot of reading up on this. So tell us about what it's done to the live concert scene.
Well, when they had ticket sales, when people went to the concerts, they were getting money per ticket. Now they're having to do virtual concerts on the TV, on YouTube. The concept of the outdoor movie is coming back. It's really funny because a long time ago I said, I wonder if they'll ever do the drive-in movie thing again. Well, now it's drive-in concerts, which is amazing. They can get a few people, but nowhere near as many people as you can get in a stadium, right, Johnny?
That's very, very true. I mean, you can pack them in a stadium, but a drive, well, I don't know, because it all depends how big the drive-in is, because I've actually heard of them using a Walmart parking lot for a drive-in, believe it or not.
Well, and not only that, once they do go back to live, Ticketmaster has even proposed that you can't get a ticket unless you have a test, a COVID test, or when the vaccines really get out, that's probably going to be the next step. So I don't know how that's going to work.
Well, Sorry, Maria. I hear you're going to have to have some kind of passbook or something that you have to carry with you all the time that says you've had a recent COVID test.
Yeah, it'll maybe start out as paper, but then it'll end up being on some type of app on your phone. Yep.
Basically, the COVID has changed everything, and I believe it's going to be permanently.
Yeah, the thought of when I saw MJ's topic was the virtual concerts. There was, I thought of the Elton John iHeart Living Room concert on the 29th of March. And then Easter time, watching Bocelli from Duomo di Milano, all alone in a cathedral. I think maybe that's something that could be worked into something new, actually. But it is kind of lonely and sad.
I actually thought of two things. Well, actually, I'll go back to what Johnny said, the size of the parking lots for the outdoor theater sizes. A long time ago when I was living in Colorado, because I said, wow, what are they going to do with all these outdoor movie theaters? I said, they will come back. Everything goes in a full circle, which it has gone in a full circle, but it's being used in a different way this time. It's all about the concerts. Now, we're talking about live concerts. We're talking about, people in cars. This is a conspiracy theory of mine, or a thought of mine. What do you guys think of them? All the singers that are producing songs eventually would have to build studios in their own homes and record from home instead of going off to the studio to do their recording. And now they have to do it at home.
A lot of artists do that anyway.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing, Tom. A lot of people already have those studios.
Yeah, because in my opinion, because of everybody can use a computer now to record and everything in the software, a lot of the recording studios, believe it or not, are falling by the wayside.
And maybe as far as concert revenue, it'll come from just selling their concerts to networks or cable channels.
Yeah, unless you have, you guys have made good points there, but unless you have money to start off in a singing business, you're not going to be able to afford a brand new studio in your home. And yes, you could do so much with a phone, or you could do so much. I mean, look what we're doing. I mean, the microphones that we have and everything else that we're doing. Yeah, I hope that's just not going to be the quality of new singers now, because not a new singer can actually afford a studio.
Actually, you can actually set up a home studio far less than paying for actual studio time. You can buy things like Pro Tools or some professional applications like that, and set up a static camera to make it video for a fraction of the cost of actual studio time.
That's what I was just going to say. You're not going to be able to afford the studio time at $300 an hour or whatever they put it set up.
Quality.
Studio quality, because you're still producing the product at a high bit rate, at least 720K on the bit rate minimum.
But what do you do for a backup band?
Are you kidding? You can get you can go on to any place online that sells, plugins and stuff for the DAWs, they call them, digital audio workstations. And you can set up where you can put drums in here, a guitar over there. You can just add them in that way.
Not only that, they have a program, I forgot the name of it, but you can use a virtual audio cable, and you could do a live radio show like you're live in the studio. So you could definitely do a band, because there's a guy on Venom FM that I talked to. That's how they do it. So they could do a morning show where they're miles apart, but it sounds like they're right together, like in the same studio. So that can all be done.
And as for Tom, for anybody that doesn't know, he has a parrot named Pepper, and he would not mind renting her out to do backup vocals.
That would be
cool. That's funny.
She could do it. She's very capable.
Well, I would ask...
On another note...
Go ahead.
On another note, Tom, you do praise and worship on Blind Café Radio, the station that raises Cain, on a Sunday morning. And I know you and your church produce songs and albums. How are you dealing with that when everybody can't get together?
The Harborside Church has never closed down, because we just shifted the platform in which we worship. Everything has been done for the past 9 or 10 months online. And we typically get on our YouTube televised services at least 2,000, 2,500 viewers.
So my next question is going to be, because we're all talking about everybody having studios, it can be done, the quality is great, it might even be cheaper to produce the music, as in doing it from your home. But what does that do for the fans? It's taken away their entertainment, everyone to be able to congregate, cheer at a certain area, all at once. I mean, do you, just pretend you guys are normal people and you can't go to concerts now because of this COVID and you have to stay at home and watch a concert. Would you still have that same excitement at your house watching it? Or would you just sit there and watch and say, oh, that was a great concert? Or would you have that great excitement like you would at a concert where everybody is just cheering and yelling and screaming and whistling?
I would, because it's cheaper. The food is cheaper. Everything's cheaper. They can't sell you a shirt for $40.
This is probably why it'll come back full circle. I mean, I think that we will eventually get the concerts back, but this new opportunity is opening up, I think, where at home or remotely.
The only downside that I see in all this new normal is the crowd dynamic. That's the only thing that's really missing.
Yeah, if you have a big screen TV with surround sound stereo system like we have here, where the neighbors can hear when my husband listens to a concert, you're safe. You're not out there maybe getting the virus. You can turn the music up at home and have fun. But I know what you're saying, Michael. You just don't have the closeness to your favorite artist.
I mean, it's not the same either. You can't go walk up and when they take their breaks and you go and walk up, you buy merchandise, you go to the concession stands. I mean, it's just the experience that everybody's going to miss out on.
Yeah, it's the experience with you and maybe your friends all being, like you say, so close to that artist and celebrating together. It's very different, even if you have the best sound system at home and the best, screen and everything.
And another thing, I know the ticket people are losing a lot of money because they can charge based on your seating, but you can't really do that at home because everybody's close to the stage, because you're right up on your TV.
At least you don't have to pay $300 for front row seats.
The truth of the matter is if you are in person at a concert, you really don't have a close intimacy with the artist anyway, especially if you buy, bargain tickets where you're up in the nosebleed section. Granted, they've got TV screens and everything there, but you're really not that close to the artist. You can't get up close and personal anyway.
But there's that electricity, that contagion from the crowd, and also just that you're in the same room with one.
Exactly.
And if you're home watching the concert on TV, I really wouldn't recommend, flicking your Bic at one point,
All right, so I'm going to bring up one more subject because I had quite a few bullet points here, and I know that we've reached out all of everything that we've done so far. So here's my last thing, and Julie just brought it up without really realizing it. The price of tickets. You can't charge for nosebleed. You can't charge for front row. But do you think they would still, even though everything's a lot cheaper now, do you think they're still going to charge out the nose for a ticket, maybe $100 a person or $100 a household?
I think what they're going to do is you're going to have a concert channel on the TV, just like everything else. And if you want these stars concerts, you're going to have to pay extra.
Well, it'll be like a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do the Jay-Z concert, it's going to be $499.99.
In the pay-per-view realm, they can charge whatever they want to. In the drive-in theater concerts, at least in the Christian and praise and worship realm, the folks that are doing the concerts here in Florida, they charge by the carload. So they lose money, but it's a proposition because of the fact that they do charge by the carload.
Good point.
Maybe they'll end up doing some kind of subscription service, like Apple does different channels. Maybe they might do that model, but for the big people, they'll probably do some kind of pay-per-view or thing like that. See how much the boxing pay-per-views are.
So basically, that's a really good point, that you go to a drive-in theater, a carload of people. There's a certain amount of cost per car, say, basically, and you stay at home and have a cost. Would the drive-in actually be sort of like your nosebleed bleachers, as in everybody congregating at a drive-in theater, or instead of staying in your personal house and watching it?
And
would there be a different price, is what I'm saying? Sorry, Johnny. So would that be a different price going to the theater or staying at home?
The cars would be 6 feet apart.
Whole different venue altogether. You're not comparing apples to apples. You're comparing apples to oranges. They're two different venue.
Exactly.
Scenarios.
So the cost should be different.
And let's not forget, if we're talking about a drive-in and charging by the carload, remember how we used to get in the drive-in a few times when we were younger?
As long as you can get close enough to hear that station.
There you
Hide
go.
the little ones in the trunk, right?
Yeah, put the driver in the trunk. Who's going to drive the car?
Yeah, we used to do that.
Oh yeah, I've been there. I've been one of the people that was in the trunk at one time.
But the sedan is not quite a thing of the past, but most of the vehicles these days are hatchbacks or something, or crossovers, or SUVs. You can't stick somebody in the trunk.
I guess they'll just have the police out there or something searching your vehicle, making sure you're not hiding nobody.
But that's a good question. Would they charge more for a big van full of people than a little sports car with just 2 people in?
No. Here's what you do. You get like a Lincoln Continental, okay? You got a big trunk in it. You could fit at least 2 or 3 bodies in there. I wouldn't really know that for a fact, but I've looked at them.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but that's the thing though. They would charge by the carload. It doesn't matter. It's gonna be a certain price, say $20 a car. Then if you decide you want to watch the concert from home in your home or you're in your own chair, you don't have to drive anywhere, do anything. And we'll just say, would the tickets be $75 at home? Because those would be sort of like your upfront, next to the stage type shows, as being in your own personal little space.
Well, I know for Christmas I got Kathy a ticket to see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra because she loves them. I paid $30 for a ticket for her, and I got it online and stuff, and she watched it online, and she said it was a really good concert.
The thing about the drive-ins is they're not going to be able to make much money if they're going to be enforcing that cars have to be 6 feet apart. They're not, you pay whatever you're going to pay and boom, they're not going to know. But if they're going to be enforcing that, they're going to be losing money. So they probably raise
food and a waitress coming around to the cars and all that. I don't think you'd be able to get out there and go to the concession stands yourself, Curtis. I don't think they would do that.
Well, it's like a bowling alley. My son went bowling the other night, and they now have it that the waitress, you order on a computer, and the waitress brings the food to you. You don't get to go up to the bar. That's how you order your shoes and everything. They just bring it to the little station where you're sitting in.
I wonder how accessible that is.
Good question.
All right.
I'll have to ask him if it was.
So this is my last point, unless somebody else has one after me. And I'm going to start with Julie on this one. We're going to go around the table here. My last bullet point is, if they went that route as a permanent thing, as in drive-in or staying at home and watching the concert channel when they have concerts, would you actually pay to watch a concert from home or go to the drive-in? Or do you want that personal experience back? So I guess that's an up in the air question, Julie. Would you actually pay for the concert at home and pay that $150 rate or whatever they're going to charge for staying at home? Or would you rather go out and pay that $150 out at the concert?
Well, I'm married to a stick-in-the-mud husband that doesn't like to go anywhere. And there's been many that I've missed because he doesn't want to go. And his because I'm blind, how are you going to go to the restroom? It's like, well, the same way as I always do. But he's just a stick in the mud that way. So if there were people that I wanted to see, like Merle Haggard that I missed, I could, watch that at home. Keith Urban, another one. So yeah,
Jimmy
I
Buffett.
think benefits.
Well, let me just
Buffett.
say, for these concerts, I know the concert I went to, Paul McCartney, you could let them know that you're disabled and they'll put you in a certain section and they'll help you get around and get everything that you need. So you can tell them that you're disabled. You can call ahead and they can help you out with that stuff if you really want to go.
Oh yeah, a lot of theaters are good that way.
Yeah, and that's going to be another whole conversation, but that's just, I see where Julie's coming from, because if you go with a group of sighted people, and you're depending on them, then once they get into the concert and everything else, they're not going to be paying attention to you as in, hey, I got to go to the bathroom, this, that, or whatever. It could be really a bad experience. But yes, if you decide you want to go by yourself or a couple other blind people or disabled people, then yes, they do have sections you can do that as well. Curtis, what do you think? Would you pay for a concert at home, or would you like to have the live experience?
I never paid for the live experience when I was out. I think the one concert that I actually did pay for was Bone Thugs and Harmony. And yes, it was good live, but even before COVID, I really am uncomfortable being around crowds because it's so loud and I can't hear and people are drinking. But so I think I would kind of rather do it at home. I know I'm safe. I ain't got to worry about idiots. I don't have to worry about spending on my drinks. I can just get me a half a gallon and just drink until I don't remember going to bed and watch the.
What do you think? Would you go out into a concert, or would you pay that $200 price to watch a concert at home?
From a performer's perspective, I miss the personal experience. I miss the interaction with my audience. Now, granted, my venues are a lot different than maybe yours, Curtis, but yeah, it's taken a big bite out of my extra income by not being able to do a personal concert with human interaction.
And it's the same for the band. Sometimes, when the band or the artist gets all fired up with the sound of the crowds, now they're playing to an empty crowd, so that has to be different for them too.
Ooh, that's another good point.
It is a challenge, having been there and doing that. It's a challenge to, for lack of a better word, to psych yourself up and to get all fired up about an audience that's invisible. It's a tough challenge.
Johnny.
I know you can relate to this, Johnny. Oh, I was going to ask him too.
Go ahead.
At the Grand Ole Opry, Bill Anderson was saying that it's really strange being at the auditorium and looking out to an empty room and trying to be funny and, do a show. He said it's very difficult.
Let me see. Would I buy the concert? I agree with Curtis. I've been to live concerts and I've been to live sporting events. Now, lately, as I've gotten older, I really don't like to be out among, crowds and stuff like that. I don't even take my wallet with me. I just take my card, put it in keep my front pocket, stuff like that. But if I have the money and I really want to see a concert that bad, would I spend the money? I believe I would. But would I rather have the live concert? Yeah, because like Tom says, you miss feeding off the energy. And it's like that. Even with sports, it's like that. Come on, the stadiums aren't full. And even the teams are going, hey, it doesn't feel right anymore.
Especially playing to cardboard cutouts.
Maria, would you purchase a ticket for staying at home that large of a price?
I do miss live concerts, but not necessarily the huge rock and roll-y kind. I miss, going to small concerts and concerts in the park. I would not pay a whole lot of money, like $200 for a concert on TV. The problem with the digital part of the industry is that eventually someone's going to put it up on YouTube.
And that'll be another whole different conversation. I'm sorry, go ahead, Julie.
Another thing you have to think of these days in Las Vegas, to Jason Aldean, life is dangerous out there anymore when there's a big crowd. And there's some crazy, crazy people. I would much rather pay $200, stay at home and be safe.
Well, actually, here's what you do, okay? Get a bunch of friends who want to see the same concert. You get the concert, you charge, little door fund there. You're ordering food. You got the food there. You know what I mean?
That's what they do with fights and stuff.
Yeah,
that's what they do with sporting events and pay-per-views and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else got any final comments on this subject?
Well, I was just going to say real fast that with what Johnny said, people get there. We did that all the time with pay-per-view wrestling programs, Johnny, where all of us would get together, just pay out, all of us a chip in. We'd all bring our own food. Everybody would bring food and all that. But going back to the thing that what Tom just said, or I think it was Juliet said it, let's look on the other side real fast, as in the performers. And I thought that was a great idea, how hard it would actually be to perform to an empty stadium, literally singing, trying to perform, because you can't feed off the crowd. Now, the only sport I could actually see that work with, and it's sad, but it's true, is professional wrestling, because we have to do that in training all the time. We have to do it as in if we were doing it in front of a crowd. So that's there's one sport that can actually get away with that, and that would be professional wrestling.
Let me jump in, because I've actually heard wrestlers from the WWE and AEW and Ring of Honor, and they all say the same thing. Yeah, it's different. It feels strange when you're wrestling in a place where not too many people. And now they're just starting to let fans back in, but not too many. And WWE does something called the Thunderdome, where they actually have like TV sets all around, and you got people watching the stuff from their computer on the TV set. But it is totally different, though. I mean, it just, to them, it feels different because it doesn't have that feeling like it used to.
Well, that was my last thing, Curtis. I just wanted to get out my last thing because it was brought up about the performer side.
All right. Well, I'm going to let Dr. Johnny Love take it over and introduce his topic. So once again, listeners, keep your ears open as well as your minds. Go ahead. Take it away, Dr. Johnny Love.
Thank you, Curtis. Okay, now we've all heard I believe the line, music soothes the savage breast, I think it is. Breast or beast, I don't know. My question is, music, is it beneficial medical-wise and stuff? I mean, does it have medical benefits? I believe it does myself, and I'll tell you why. I have depression, and even though I take Prozac now for it, before I got on that, when I would get depressed, I would actually listen to music, and that would kind of draw me out of my depression. But it's also been used for like other things, like patients with Alzheimer's who, are like not remembering stuff. When they hear a certain song, they go back to back to when they were a kid or something like that. I mean, their memories come back. What do you guys think? I mean, do you think it helps, medical-wise and stuff, or what do you guys think?
What I was going to say is what you said, mental health-wise, it definitely would help mentally, but if I break my leg, I don't think it's going to heal if I listen to Luther Vandross. But yeah, mentally health, yep.
Anything that helps you relax is going to change the chemical reactions in your brain. And music can do that. Johnny posted a wonderful article and talking about all those things that he mentioned. And, you could take a drug to relax you, but if you can avoid the drug and have a little bit of help from the music and take less of the drug, music is rich. It's rich in the different sensations it gives you, the different memories that it'll bring back. And yes, it does alter your brain, and it can lessen your pain a little bit. It
can also make you angry.
It definitely, depending on which music you choose, sure.
Yeah, that all depends what you're listening to, I mean, I mean, when I'm listening to country music, I'm not getting angry or anything. So that's
Take this job and shove it, or I got friends in low places.
Now, Julie, you dance to your music.
You should pick better friends, Maria. Yes, I use dancing as an exercise. I've always loved to dance, and so that's how I do my workouts. Another thing it does too, though, it unites people. It unites neighborhoods. It unites the country. Look at all the things they've done with holding hands across the world, or lighting up light candles across the world. And then there was Live Aid and
We Are the World.
Yes, that's the one I was thinking of. We Are the World.
and Band-Aid.
Yes, music can be a great healer in that way.
Well, let me ask you a question, Julie. When you're dancing, are you doing a certain kind of dance, or are you twerking?
I don't know what twerking means.
Oh, she's twerking. I want that on video.
That means you're moving everywhere. You don't have a certain steps that you're doing.
Basically, you bent over, shaking your tush.
No, it's choreographed like Paula Abdul and John Travolta, that kind of dancing. It's old disco dancing.
Now, Rex twerks, okay?
Okay.
No, serious, he does. He also does yoga, too.
Now, I like to listen to music for two different reasons. One, it's when I work out, it really helps build energy up. So in a way, the other way I listen to music is more concentrating. It seems weird. I would sit here, I'd be typing away, doing work on the computer, but I have music in the background playing, and it really keeps me concentrating as in what I'm doing, because if I don't have music on, then my mind starts to wander, and then I wonder what I just got done typing or what I was working on, because it's too quiet. I got to have something in the background, so I always have music playing to keep me focused.
It kind of blocks out those thoughts that might distract you. You mean?
I can give you an example, MJ. When I dated Maria, and I used to, put like maybe a new sound card in her computer or something, I would actually put on some classical music that way when I opened the computer and stuff like that. She'd come in, I'm like, don't come in here. I'd keep the classical music playing.
For that, but I do know that I used to, when I was in school, I always used to have music on while I was studying.
You don't remember dating him or the classical music?
Probably both.
See, now that's another form of using music to concentrate that helps you, keep doing what you're doing and all that. Tom, what do you use music for?
Well, first of all, there's definite scientific proof that music releases those positive endorphins, the good chemicals out of your brain.
And dopamine and opioids.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. Well, dopamine anyway. But it does. Music stirs the emotions. It does soothe. It's scientifically proven that that's the case. There are degrees, both in the Bachelor of Science and the Master's level, for music therapy. So it's scientifically proven that music indeed makes a difference. It works extremely well. I've read and seen it work in person. I've seen music work extremely well with autistic kids. They respond to it in a very positive way. What music does for me as a performer, it's just as therapeutic for me to sing and perform as it hopefully is for the listener to listen to the performance.
Well, I know my son has autism, and he loves listening to music and any kind of thing. I guess that's his stimulation, and he almost seems to can't go without listening to stuff.
Now,
it's stimulating, and it's also very cathartic as well. It can be.
Yes.
And that is very therapeutic
now,
as well.
Curtis earlier said that music can make you angry too. What type of music would make you angry, Julie? I know you don't like the hard rock stuff, but would it make you angry, or would it just you don't want to listen to it? I mean, or is there music that will make you, become an angry person? Because if so, I got to make sure I delete all of it in the house.
Annoying. And if you listen to some of the words, they talk about killing people and slitting throats and suicides. It's very depressing.
Well,
I
guess
was going to say that heavy metal don't make me angry. It make me want to kill myself after listening to it for so long. Just like that hillbilly stuff, that down, man.
Well, I guess
Well, there's music that annoys you, but then there's also music that speaks to you in a sense, like that. I've got friends in low places. That's like, oh, I'm going to stick it to her. And it's like if you're either identifying with the singer or the singer's just making you.
Yeah,
angry.
but that's just more of a sing along song, wouldn't it be? Because there are songs that you can just sing along to and just enjoy yourself. They would be. It's a way to make you have. It's like I said, it's just a sing along song. There's those sing-along songs that you just sing to and just really enjoy yourself.
Does that mean I can't play Black Sabbath's War Pigs then on my rock block?
That question, I think, was directed towards you, Julie. Uh-oh, Johnny, you got the silent treatment.
I'll take it as a yes.
We can discuss that at a later date, Johnny.
In private.
I'll take that as a no then.
I want to hear the discussion later.
We don't want to bring suicidal music to our listeners, Johnny. We expose ourselves to the best of music for our listeners.
Actually, no. I say that in jest because while I do like some Black Sabbath, I won't play. There's certain music I won't play on my shows, and while Iron Man, okay, that would be okay, but War Pigs, no, that has no place on my show.
Iron Man is the only one that I would actually agree with on the station because that's a really decent, good song. It's a really good song, and it's not out of control type hard rock.
And Michael and I have actually had this conversation too, so I know what I can play on there. So when I just say like that to you, Julie, I can't play War Pigs, I'm just busting your chops.
Yes, Johnny, and I have enough chops to bust.
Well, all I can say is that music can bring out any kind of emotion, really, and sometimes that's a good thing, even if it is a negative one. Sometimes it's like you need that release.
Okay, so now we know that heavy metal makes Julie angry. Let's go around the table then, guys, and find out. Tom, what music makes you angry?
I don't think there's any music that really makes me angry. When I listen to rap, though, it makes me frustrated because rap is not music. It's poetry.
In motion.
I have to disagree with you because I was someone that said that. I would not listen to rap. Even if you paid me, I wouldn't listen to it. Here and there you hear something on the TV and you flip past it real quick. And then I was sent a song by Curtis, who used to perform rap. And I was absolutely amazed. There was no cursing. There was no killing, no slicing your wrists into all day.
It's not musicianship. It's communication through dialogue and poetry. But music, no. There's no musicianship there.
In as much as drums are musical and the rhythm of a voice falling is musical, I'm talking about, maybe the lyrics might make someone angry. I don't think it's the same as what I'm thinking of as like if you identify with the lyrics and it says, yeah, I feel that way too sometimes. I think that could be a good thing. I don't know. I think I mentioned take this job and shove it because Johnny was talking about country music. And I think, most genres have a range of emotions.
All right, Maria, how about you? What music makes you angry?
I'd have to think about that one for a little bit. But yeah, I do like the idea of I've got friends in low places. That's like he's saying, I don't need you. I mean, that's kind of cathartic.
All right, we already know that Curtis don't like the hillbilly stuff. Hey, I'm part of the hillbilly stuff there, Curtis, so
I'm talking about that real down country stuff, where they're playing the guitar fast.
Golly!
Yeah, stuff
but
like that.
It sounds like that just annoys you. It doesn't sound like it speaks to you and, brings out some real.
It speaks to me, all right. When I hear it, turn it off. Turn it off.
Now, I'm the type of person that can listen to all the music. I can listen to it for a little bit, then I have to stop as in listen. So it's more like hear it on Blind Café Radio. I can sit there and listen to the stream, listen to the DJ that's playing different music, and I'm happy with it. I can listen to standards. The only one that I really can't listen to too long would be opera. I don't think I could sit through a whole show of opera.
Oh, you don't know what you're missing.
I think that there would be a couple of good songs that you would like, but yeah, I agree. I don't like sitting through a whole opera because it's just a lot of not very catchy music, but once in a while you get something really beautiful.
And I was just getting ready to introduce you to a DJ that wanted to do an opera show.
Oh, boy, oh boy, oh boy.
And I can tell you, we have a member on our site. She's a lovely lady, and her husband were very, very close and very much in love. And she was a huge Tom Jones fan. And when her husband passed away a few years ago, she listened to Tom Jones's albums, all the albums she had collected. And it just brought her closer to her husband. She actually, as blind, got on an aeroplane, went to the concert. They met her. She went from the hotel to the concert. They met her there and they took her backstage to see Tom Jones. And it was amazing. And she told him, she said, if it wasn't for you, I could not have got through losing my husband. She recorded it and I bawled my eyes out, but it was wonderful. So that's how music can help heal too.
The horse lady.
Good. That's a good thing too.
That brings up a good point. I related to my father very much through our mutual love of Neapolitan songs, and also some opera. And I think for a while after he died, I just sort of pulled away from it for a while, just too much emotion.
Now,
yes, I know what you mean, Maria. My father taught me to dance. I was a little girl that stood on his toes. And as I grew older, he took me ballroom dancing. And now when I hear Luther Vandross's Dance with My Father, I play it every year for his birthday. And I just bawl my eyes out, bring back the memories. And the next day I put it away and I don't listen to it for the rest of the year.
Now, if you were to ask me what songs was to make, what music makes me angry, like Michael, I listen to all kinds of
music. By the way, John, what music makes you angry?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. Hey, I thought you'd never ask. Anyway, like Michael, I listen to all kinds of music, and I really don't get angry over it. Well, maybe I would get more, not angry, but more pumped up. It would either be like hard rock or punk rock even, I mean, Sex Pistols, sweet stuff like that. That would get me kind of pumped up.
That's what I was trying to say. It's not necessarily that the music makes you angry, like you hate the music and you want to turn it off, but it's like the music gets you pumped up in that kind of way and it makes you want to kick some ass or something.
Maria swore, Julie.
I wasn't listening.
I didn't hear a thing.
But how about but? You can here, Curtis. But edit that.
I'll go ahead and finish, John.
And we've got a break for a commercial.
Do you have dreams that you want to achieve but are scared to do so due to self-doubt, fear, and other people's criticism? I have just what you need. You need a dose of the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, where I interview guests that will motivate and inspire you to stop at nothing to achieve your dreams. And always remember, if you believe, you can achieve.
The Living the Dream with Curveball podcast is available on your favorite podcast app.
And welcome back.
All right, so Curtis, what else you got for me?
Just want to see if anybody has any other comments before we close the show.
You make me want to go and listen to some Pavarotti.
It's funny because I was thinking, I would just love to go listen to Dance with My Father right now.
Nope, I don't have anything else.
I'm cool.
Me too.
I think we've got a good show.
Podcast.
All right, well, in that case, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of the Naked DJs podcast, brought to you by Blind Café Radio. Listeners, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review after listening. Until next time, we are Blind Café Radio signing off. Goodbye from the station that raises Cain.
Go and check out Blind Café Radio at blindcaferadio.com, and also follow us on Twitter at Blind Café Radio and on Facebook at Blind Café Radio. Make sure you visit our webpage at blindcaferadio.com, where you can visit our naked DJ. And this is the Blind Café Kangaroo signing off.